Okay. Hello. Can you hear me? I'm back. I think we were having some network issues. I hope I have the audience of everyone. Please, I just need someone to help me confirm.
Yeah, you're ready.
Okay. Thank you so much. So let me just continue from where I was so that we don't spend much time on this. So insurance is very important. It's a very important aspect of what we want to build with everyone, and we don't want any rooms for doubt concerning what your investment tends to bring for you in the nearest future. And being that it is agriculture, there needs to be some stable kind of understanding for what you be getting at the end of this. So this was the general mindset that brought about why we are having this webinar that's going to be speaking more on what insurance is for many people that don't know about what insurance is and how necessary it might be. So I want to bring it from I want to approach it from a more personal perspective so that everyone can get a hands-on information on what insurance packages are on, so that everyone can have a perspective on what insurance packages are on currently, and then we'll be able to start from there. So today's panel will be kickstarting, just like I initially introduced. Mr. Adeni is here with us. He is the founder and CEO of Dufma Integrated Agritech Services. He will be joining us on that panel, and likewise Mr. Emmanuel is also Mr. Emmanuel Ogumbe, who is a representative of the NAIC body here in Nigeria. So he would be doing justice to what insurance packages that are currently available for the agricultural industry, and he'll be speaking to us more about it. And we also have the room to ask questions, and many of those questions will be deemed attended to by the respective parties. So with this, I'll just want to call upon either of Mr. Adeni or Mr. Emmanuel, who would be going with us. Which of you would find it more comfortable going first?
Yes, thank you, Sean. I really appreciate it. We are so sorry, everyone, for the network glitch. Of course, we try to do our best, but then we are all still in Nigeria, and despite 24 network, sometimes things get a bit fuzzy. But as I said, I believe right now things are more smoother, and we'll try our best to give you the content going forward. So I'll be starting first, and I will invite Mr. Emmanuel to join me soon. I'll give a brief mind to where we were and how we have gotten to where we are, and what we have in store for existing clients, likewise the prospective clients as well. Of course, a lot of the attendants on the farm on the call right now are existing clients. Of course, I can see Mr. Adebayo Ali, I can see Mr. Oluwaseyi, I can see quite a number of MG Kanya. These are existing clients already. So, of course, and which is our first priority. Our existing clients are our biggest priority, and then prospective clients are also very important to us. But of course, we want to make sure that the existing clients have this deal fast as soon as possible, and their farms have all of these things installed with their knowledge, because knowledge is very key. And except you have knowledge, there are a lot of things you will be able to achieve. So before now, of course, what we do is simple. Our modus operandi was actually selling the land to our clients. After the land comes to our client, the next thing we give to them is a room to make fund available. This fund provided what is now used to work on the farm. Now, we work on that farm, we setting it up, and then we start managing this farm going forward. After we manage it, after a year, the first component of the farm, for those that have plantain on their farm, comes alive. And then after the harvest is done, we give the proceeds of this harvest, of course, to the clients. What we typically do is simple. We're going to evaluate the value of what had been harvested. Let's say, for example, we harvested 10 bunch from a farm. Now, I'm using a rhetoric statement here just so you can understand our modus operandi as regarding sales. Now, this 10 bunch right now, a standard market price, let's say at standard market price, you can easily get that value without going too far. If you're in Lagos, there are several major markets, open markets that you can access. There's Oyibo, there's also the market, that's the arena. You can access the Mushin market. There are different markets you can easily access. And to get standard market price, you go to where they sell the farmers market, the wholesale farmers market, and they ask them how much is a bunch of plantain that day. It's simple. That's how you get the farmers market. So how we actually analyze our own value is market price less logistics, because if you're going to sell it on your own, you would have to take these goods to the market and then sell it off at this price. So what we do is we buy it at standard market price less logistics. So the price that wholesalers are willing to buy from you, I think the price they're going to sell it wholesale. So that's the price we buy for. We don't buy it from you because we are the one that manage your farm. No, we buy it at that fair price. After buying that, let's say that thing now, each of them will start going up at one, because you'll be surprised that at the wholesale level, the prices are ridiculously cheap. But of course, the value there is also good. So that thing now, as we say that 1,000 naira per one, that means that is 10,000 naira. That 10,000 naira is what we send to you. Of course, at the end of the year, we can get out of that 10,000 naira, you require 2,000 to manage your farm in the second year. So that 10,000 you send us 2,000 naira. That is how the modus operandi work. Now, if of course you're paying for alignment and setup services, of course you don't have to plus any other thing like that. When you're not paying us alignment and setup services from the onset, we actually charge you 20% from your harvest. After the harvest is down, as an amendment and setup service, because we don't ask for that money in the beginning, except to make it, you have the money to give us, to offer us, then we pick that money up and then we take it forward. But if you don't have the money to give to us, we also don't disturb you. We take whatever you have and only spend it on the farm. And that's why all our proposals have clear listing of what we use the money for. For example, the money is for clearing. We tell you from day one. The money is for irrigation. That is what we use it for. We don't actually miss this money. And we also give you this ability to verify what our prices are. And for some that have done it, beautiful. For those some that want to still do it, we are not against it. We give you the proposal user to do all of that. So now with all of this, insurance is now the final step. After all this is ready, one may certain that your land is insured. And that is why we are bringing Mr. Emmanuel Gumbi here. Because we could tell you that your land will be having good representation, but then it's still great enough. You have to be involved yourself. We are not the typical investor and get 10% after every year. No, this one is as much farm as your farm can produce, and not limiting your farm to just 10%. It's as much as your farm can produce. Why do you want to have 2% of your farm's value when you can actually have all the harvest from your farm? And we don't say mind in it. We are in it for the produce, and to get that produce we need to help you farm it, and to help you farm it we have to bring honesty to the table, and that honesty requires all of these things we are doing, and this insurance is just one step in the right direction. So with that said, Mr. Emmanuel Gumbi, kindly introduce yourself to the whole house, and so we can move this panel session over. I'm going to ask a series of questions that I think clients would love to hear, and then you're going to answer them. And after you're done answering it, after we've maxed our own question and answers, we'll give client the room to ask their own follow-up questions in case we have not got one or two parts for our clients. With that said, Mr. Emmanuel, kindly introduce yourself. Thank you. Mr. Emmanuel, we are waiting for you.
Okay. Mr. Emmanuel?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Mr. Adeniyi. Yeah, sorry about that. Thank you so much, Mr. Adeniyi. Once again, my name is Ogumbi Emmanuel, and I'm a representative of Nigerian Agricultural Insurance Corporation. I want to appreciate the team for giving me the opportunity to introduce the corporation to them and clients, prospective clients, and existing clients. And I hope that our time being spent this evening is not going to be we are not going to waste our time. I hope it's been productive. Whatever I'm going to be saying is going to be as informative as possible and as concise as possible. I don't plan on wasting time. So, and I want to appreciate all the clients that are on these calls, the existing clients and the prospective clients for their time. So thank you, everyone. I am pleased to introduce Nigerian Agricultural Insurance Corporation, NAIC, and the various insurance services that we render in order to ensure effective management of risk on our investment. I understand that most of us here are investors, and the reason why we are investing is because we want a return on our investment, and we are coming so that we tighten all loose ends to make sure that we get return on all our investments. That is why we are coming as an insurance body. I cannot overstress the importance of insurance. I think Mr. Oluwaseun and Mr. Deni has also told us how important insurance is. So I can't overstress the importance of insurance, and I'm positive that I know that the team understands insurance. That is why we are having this platform to talk about insurance. Firstly, I would just like to go through a list of some of the things I'll be talking about. Like I said, I'm going to be concise as possible. I'll be talking about the brief introduction about the corporation, the objective of the corporation, the subsidy element, plantation insurance, then claim settlement. Then after, I think we can go to the question and answer. So, not wasting our time, the brief introduction of the corporation. Prior to the establishment of NAIC, I would be making use of NAIC. That is the acronym for Nigerian Agricultural Insurance Corporation. So I want us to understand what I'm saying when I say NAIC. So prior to the establishment of NAIC, Nigerian farmers suffered various losses on their investments, and there is no means of going back to production. So this situation leads to reductions of farming practice, which is a serious threat to food security in the nation. Losses arising from flood, from fire damage, from windstorm, from pests and diseases on their farm, name it, cattle invasion on their farm. So there are all these losses, farmers suffer all these losses on their investment. And when we suffer loss on our investment, we find it difficult to reinvest. And agriculture is not something that we can joke about as a nation. So that is why the federal government came up with intervention then. And I am sure most of us know how intervention works. When money is being disbursed for intervention, sometimes the money do not even get to the government.
Mr. Emmanuel, your speaker is glitching. Can you check it? Your speaker is glitching.
Okay, can you hear me?
It's still glitching. No, we can't hear you very well. It's still glitching.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Better, much better.
Okay, thank you. So I was saying that prior to the establishment of NAIC, farmers suffered various losses on their investment, and there is no means of going back to production. So this situation leads to a reduction in farming practice, and we all know what this can cause to the nation, which leads to a lot of serious threats to food security. So I said the federal government came up with intervention, and we all know how intervention works. When the money is being disbursed, it does not get to the farmer who actually needs the fund. So the federal government, through the Ministry of Agri, came up with a lasting solution, which leads to the establishment of NAIC, Nigerian Agricultural Insurance Corporation. So with all this being said, NAIC is fully owned by the federal government of Nigeria, and we have branches network in all the 36 states of the federation, including our FCT, Abuja, which house our corporate headquarters. So NAIC is established in 1983. We are incorporated in 1993 with the main objective of securing small scales, medium and large scales investors, farmers, against natural disasters or accidents. These are unforeseen circumstances that we cannot predict. Drought, flood, fire, windstorm, name it. They are unforeseen circumstance that we cannot predict. So we now come as we as insurance company now, we now take up that risk on your behalf. We take up that risk on your behalf so that you can now invest and have a peace of mind that your investment is secured. So small scales, medium and large scales investors are welcome. So the corporation has over the years now achieved these objectives by addressing risks, by providing protections to investors, ensuring prompt payment of indemnity. Indemnity is what you get when you have losses it's the compensation you get when you have loss on your farm. So the management, MD CEO in person of Mrs. Folashade Joseph, we have 2 executive directors on operations and on technicals. Last year, Nike paid over about 850 million naira as claim as indemnity to farmers. So I'm saying this so that we know that we are serious-minded people. The reason why federal government established Nike is to help farmers. I used to tell people that Nike is a social service. So as a farmer, it's something that you just have to grasp the opportunity, because by the time I get to the subsidy element, we understand why I say that Nike is a social service to farmers. So the objective of the scheme, our main objective in Nike is to protect farmers against effects of natural hazard by providing adequate compensation in order to keep the farmers back to business. So we provide adequate compensations to farmers when they suffer loss so that we can keep them in business. And the scheme is, like I said earlier, the scheme is established for the benefit of all categories of farmers: individuals, self-financed farmers, cluster farmers in cluster groups. They can all benefit from what we do in Nike. And these schemes also operate a mandatory covers for loans collected from banks, from loans collected from any financial institution for the purpose of agro-related projects. And let me quickly go to the subsidy element of the scheme. So like I said earlier, that this scheme is just like a social service to me. That is what I tell people, because the federal government is making everything possible, making everything available to farmers, because they know that everybody knows how important agriculture is. Everybody knows the importance of agriculture. So we have some subsidized crops and some subsidized livestock. We have some subsidized crops and some subsidized livestock. So the premium payable by the farmer in a subsidized crop or subsidized livestock, as the case may be, is 50%. And the 50%, the other 50% is being paid by the state government and the federal government respectively. That's in the ratio of 75% to 25%. A perfect example, if we calculate your premium and you are paying premium for a subsidized crop or a subsidized livestock, we calculate your premium, you are supposed to pay probably 200 naira. Your premium payable is supposed to be 200 naira. You will just have to pay 50% of it, which is 100 naira. You pay 100 naira. Why you leave us with the federal government and the state government to collect the remaining 100 naira back from them? Once you pay your own 100 naira, you are being secured. You don't have any issue whether the state or the federal government pay. Just leave us to do that. That is our business. So the federal government is going to pay 75% on your behalf, while the state government, where your project is located, is going to pay 25% on your behalf. So this is just done to encourage farmers to embrace the scheme, so that farmers can embrace the scheme. So the premium subsidy is only for farmers. Okay, I forgot to mention. Okay, because the investment that we guys are introduced into is farming investment. So I will just talk more on the agric insurance, because we do all other insurance. We do the general business and all. So, and it's only agric insurance that is being subsidized. Only agric insurance that is being subsidized, because that is the objective of the corporation. That is the mind of the Ministry of Agric, why they established Nigerian Agricultural Insurance Corporation. So let me just give us list of some of the other insurance that we do. Then we talk more on the plantation tree insurance policy, which is a policy that covers both our cashew crop and our plantain. So other insurance that we do cattle and other domestic animal insurance. We have policies for them. We have policy for poultry insurance. We have policy for crop insurance, for fishery. Then for general business, we do bond, we do goods in transit, motor insurance, marine cargo, and so on and so forth. Let me not bore us with all those lists, but we have list of other. I'm just trying to establish that we do not only do agric insurance. So plantain tree insurance policy, I think that is where everybody now has to like concentrate, because from my experience, what I noticed between clients and an insurance company, most times the issue they used to have is lack of communication. So when I sell a policy to you as a client, I only tell you that, okay, your car or whatever you are buying policy on is come and buy insurance, and you pay the premium. So when you now have issues, the insurance company will now tell you, don't you go through your policy, the certificate policy given to you, that this is not covered, this is what is covered and not. So that person will now go about telling people that insurance does not pay. This is my experience with insurance and not. So now we are establishing communication now between myself as a representative of Nike and you guys who are you the client now. So we need to really pay attention here so that we know what is covered and what is not being covered, so that we don't have issues when claims now arises. So we are lucky that we have a mixed we have a mixed crop plantation, and that mixed crop covers our cashew and our plantain. So that means on our acre of land where we plant our cashew and our plantain, we just have to take up one policy for the two. So we don't have to take different policy for our plantain and a different policy for our cashew. So we have a mixed plantation tree policy. So I think that is advisable for us to take if we are interested. So we cover fire on our farmland. We cover fire. We cover windstorm. We cover flood. We cover drought on our farmland too. So I want us really to pay attention that we cover fire on our farmland when there is fire outbreak on our farmland. We cover lightning, or we cover flood. We cover aircraft damage. In a case where aircraft damage on our farmland is being covered, then we covered flood. Okay, I think I've mentioned flood, I've mentioned fire, I've mentioned lightning, and I've mentioned drought. So we cover those things. When those things now occur on our farm, those eventualities now occur, we cover them, we pay claims on them. And there is now this new introduction. We know that one of the needs of one of the things that farmers really cry about is the invasion of cattle on their farm. So now we've introduced cattle invasion into our policy, which covers when cattle comes to our farm to destroy our farmland. But this attracts an additional premium. Now let's talk about premium now. For excluding our cattle invasion, for our both cashew and plantation, the premium payable is 1.5%. $1.5%, which covers your farmland for a year. If if we calculate what is being used on your farmland, the amounts being used to cultivate from your clearing of land to your cultivation level. If, for example, we calculate it to be around 1 million naira, your premium is going to be 15,000 naira. Your premium is going to be 15,000 naira. So come to think of it, when you are covering you are covering your investment of 1 million naira with just 15,000 naira. With 15,000 naira, you are good to go. You are covered. And if you now want to take up the cattle invasion policy, you pay an extra additional premium of 1%. So that means if you are taking up cattle invasion, your premium is now going to add up to 2.5%. So let me quickly go to, so that we leave room for questions, let me quickly go to claim settlement now, which is claim payment is one of the important aspects of any insurance organization. That is why insurance comes to that is the reason why we have insurance organizations. Insurance
Mr. Emmanuel.
Hello, Mr. Emmanuel. Are you there?
To pay claims, to indemnify clients when they have losses. So give them between the range of 24 to 48 hours of occurrence. You can report to the nearest, like I said, we have branches nationwide. You can report to the nearest NAIC office, or by phone call to any NAIC representative, or by letter of notification to our mails. You just inform us as fast as you can. So when you inform us of a loss on your farmland, we send representatives to confirm the loss. And once the loss is being confirmed, we ask you for necessary documents, and we send it. You send in the necessary documents. We work on the claims and on the documents, and we send you a discharge voucher. That is a DV that carries the amount you are going to be paid. So when we send that to you, you look through it, the amount we said we are going to pay you. If you are okay by it, you sign the discharge voucher, then we forward the money to your account. But if you feel like we are paying you the pay is too small, or probably you feel like we are paying you too much, you reject the DV, and we send it back to the claim department, where they are going to review the claims again and give you replies. So either they increase it. If I have seen situations where the claims, the money was reduced because the corporation just decided to help the farmer, and they gave him substantial amount of money, but because he rejected the discharge voucher, his claims was reduced. And after a thorough investigation, he noticed that he was even not supposed to get the amount that he got. So whichever the case might be, and insurance now is now under. I used to tell people that insurance is no longer business like before. Insurance is now different, because we have a governing body that is now doing its best to regulate the insurance operation in Nigeria. That is NICON. If you feel like you are being cheated, you are not being paid your claim, you can report any insurance complaint to NICON, and they take it up, just like we have CBNs for all our banks. So I hope I am able to do justice to some of the things that I
You have done wonderfully well. You have done wonderfully well. And I am happy that you were able to wrap all of this in as much as less than 20 minutes. Of course, we are so sorry to everyone that our time we kicked off about 10 minutes later than we wanted to. And so we're going to move straight into the panel session now, because we're doing the background. I believe everyone that had been on the call had what Mr. Emmanuel has said about Nike. The full meaning of Nigerian Agricultural Insurance Corporation, and all the things that they've made to afford. Particularly, I've met with one of the executive directors in 2017. As at then, I don't know if they've changed him in Abuja. I had a project with NISA, that CBN, and it was quite a very heavy project. So I had privilege of meeting with one of the executive directors of operations at the time. Then I think they had a different name. I think that's very branded, so I'm not sure. But then we had a meeting with them, and then also I was able to meet with the MD of Bank of Agriculture as well. Mr. Abdul. I was able to meet with him back then before Momo came on board, and then change those structures again. What I'm trying to say is, then the insurance of them truly has changed, and a lot of things are now more modernized. They've been able to make sure that it is now user friendly. Before now, also there was no, I think about last time as well, there was no logistics insurance for agricultural professionals. Moving from the north to the south, from the south to the west, west to the east, there was no strong insurance policy then. But now I believe there is also a strong, because I had when it was being brought up, and then there's a good insurance policy for that. So I want to say that farmers they've come around to actually hear what you have to say as regarding this, and I'm very glad you did a good job at it. I just have one of the big things I want to talk about. I didn't hear you stress a lot. What product exactly? Because some of these farmers also have other lands, right? Some of our clients also have other farm establishments. And the idea here is to expose them to as much insurance as possible. You say there are some subsidy elements, and those subsidy elements, we didn't catch their exact name. Is it poultry? Are poultry part of it? Cattle part of it? If it's cattle, you know, cattle are like cow, right? Your sheep and goats classify under that range. Is there maize and stuff? So, can you kindly give a specification on the items that are under subsidy elements?
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Ademile. For our crops, the ones under subsidy, we have subsidized, like I mentioned, we have subsidized crop, we have commercial crops, we have subsidized livestock, we have commercial livestock. So for the subsidized crop, they are the basic food crops such as our maize, our rice, our cassava, our yam, our vegetable, millets, granules, and so on. So those are the subsidized crop. And for the subsidized livestock, poultry is being subsidized, piggery is being subsidized, fish farms are being subsidized. Then rabbit, sheep, goats, cattle generally they are being subsidized. So those are basically the food crops are the ones that are being subsidized. Basically the food crops like maize, yam, cassava, millet, granite, and etc. They are the ones that are being subsidized. And for the livestock, domestic animals such as cattle, sheep, goats, pig, rabbit, grass cutter, are being subsidized. For the fish farm are being subsidized, on our poultry, any type of poultry whatsoever, from broilers to railers to breeder to cockerel to turkeys to duck, etc. So I hope you get that.
Yes, wonderful. I actually stressed this because I wanted, as I said, a lot of our clients also have other farms, and one of the things we want to give to them is value. So, of course, we know that cash crop in Nigeria is quite a different thing, it's still growing, and the increase is expanding, and we hope that eventually the federal government will deem it fit to add some of these things to subsidy elements. But that's it for our clients. If you have a poultry farm, you have a fish farm, you have a livestock farm, cattle, sheep, and goats, you have a rice farm somewhere other than where you have a house. Of course, we know that you have subsidy on this product. That means you can pay 50% of it, and then government is going to pay that. So if you're being charged a particular amount as a premium, you're paying half of it, government is paying the other half. And also that brings me back. There was a guaranteed and nicer gift. A lot of farmers are not aware. For some of us that are actually real farmers, I kind of point that if you want to collect loan from the bank, and a loan has got a good deal for farmers. Of course, it's not working an arrangement for those of you that have personal farm. Now, going on to something that actually concerns our own clients, right? We've actually dived around general mind already. So, as regarding our own personal client now, You say that insurance cover certain things, and one important things I want to stress these things and what they actually mean, because when you just say things like fire, drought, and the rest like that, a lot of our clients don't understand how this actually mean or what it means for the farm. So I want to stretch that a bit so that we can have a general mind. And I'm going to ask you a question that you cannot give me an answer for. So, for example, Mr. Emmanuel said that insurance covers drought, and I want to explain what the impact of drought is. What drought is in the African system is the fact that there's a prolonged period without rain. And why this is very important is because Nigerians, globally, if you've been watching the news, climate change is eating the world hard and fast. And because this climate change is complicated, you can't always 100% guarantee that the products you normally would have planted within 4-5 months that were issues, rain could just come in the middle. You didn't even plan for it. Rain would just stop. Like 2 years ago, rain stopped in June ending, and it didn't come back until September. A lot of farmers ran into crazy loss. The loss was severe, and of course, we thought the market just started buying food item as well. Even up to now, some food have still not balanced out. So that is how drought affects the market. So drought is just a prolonged period when there is no rain, and it causes the goods to damage. So of course, we are bringing this up because we are bringing in new packages for our clients, new prospect clients that can allow them do a rain-fed tree farm or plantain farm. And we want you to know that this drought, actually, if you're on this premium, actually when there's drought, there will be a room for you to create funds from it. Of course, we always do our best, but also advise that don't depend on that alone. Always consider having an irrigation as well. Even though NAIC is going to cover that, that doesn't mean you should even joke. Because even if NAIC is paying you the money for what you've lost, the product is gone. Particularly if it's not a plantain of 2 years old. Oh God, we don't want to have that. We don't want to think about it. NAIC will pay you, but then you lost 2 years old plantain farm. If the cashew is 3 years old and you now lost it to drought, they'll pay you, but it does not cover the loss. So of course, we advise that even while all of this are made available, we should always have a proactive action of having irrigation in our farm. Also, fire is one of the things that they are covering. Fire now is a big deal to cashew farm, particularly cashew farm. Plantain is still quite resilient a bit, but you see cashew farm, fire, they don't like it. Any small breeze of fire, cashew has gone. You grab. And sometimes we can't even, there's something they call forest fire. People don't usually like it, they light itself up. When everywhere is hot to some extent, any little spark can turn to fire. And this is why it's very important that you understand why this premium is important. Fire is protected when you have fire off your farm, and of course they come and evaluate that it's a natural causes, you're getting your money back. Also there's flood can be unpredictable. In that Benue last year, if you have anybody, ask them about the flood in Benue. Most part of Benue was flooded, particularly the farms on the lowland. They were flooded, rice, multi-million naira worth of rice was destroyed. And you can't understand how this is important until you are in the farming space. These are part of things that are covered. And much importantly, the thing of the cattle premium. Of course, any of our clients that's going for insurance have to consider cattle premium. Of course, our farms, we have security system measures in place, no doubt. We have that, we've told you about it before now. What we just want to do is have that as a layer, because even our security system in the beginning, our CCTVs and human efforts, until we're able to bring up our live fence. Until that live fence is mature enough, we'll have human security and CCTV camera security to prove out, to help us see what everything happening on the farm. That will not reduce cattle, but the fact that we now have the cattle premium, it means that cattle comes there with our CCTV video showing how cattle touch your farm. Of course, we can easily lay claims to damages that have been done to your farm easily. Now, these are the 4 points I want to mention. Every other ones are substantial. Of course, we don't plan for planes to crash. It's even very terrible for life. It's not comfortable for farm. So we don't plan for things like that to happen. Lightning and back, we don't pray for that to happen. Although it happens, but it's very, very rare. Other things that have been mentioned. But now, Mr. Emmanuel, I'm coming back to you. There are a lot of misconceptions that happen with insurance, right, in Nigeria, and you don't blame them. A lot of Nigerians are very stressed. What about if nothing happened on the farm at the end of the year? I've lost money. Well, that's how Nigerians think it. I won't lie to you. But what I want to say is, last year, we noticed there was issues around this insurance company, it's a private insurance company, Leadway, that a lot of investors started failing last year. And as it started failing, people started attacking Leadway, that Leadway should have paid them back and everything. And that was when the truth about this insurance arrangement started coming up. So I want to ask you, in your own experience, what are the common misconceptions that clients make about insurance that should not be the case, that eventually put them in harm's way? Do you get that question very well?
Yes, I do.
From your own point of view, what are the common misconceptions you think client makes about insurance that you think shouldn't be?
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Ademi. Firstly, when people insure their farm, they feel like, I think you even mentioned this when you're talking. When you insure your farm and you have loss on your farm, you feel like insurance company is supposed to pay you. Insurance is not for gain. You don't gain out of insurance. That is just the basic. That is the foundation. It's not for you to gain. It's just a platform for you to get back to your feet. A perfect example, like I said, let me just be virtual. Let me give an example of the recent one. One farmer in Ekiti had a flood on his farm. His rice farm was flooded, and he paid a premium of 10,000 naira and the 10,000 naira covered, I think, about 500,000 naira on his farmland. So when he had that issue, I think what we do in the claim department is we calculate when you are supposed to harvest your farm. We don't pay you, like you don't expect someone who is supposed to harvest his farm tomorrow who had loss to get the same thing with someone who had loss probably after 2 weeks or 1 month of planting. I hope you understand what I'm saying. So we don't pay you the same amount. So a lot of people, the misconception is that they feel like when they are being paid, the amount they are being paid is too small, thinking that the insurance company is supposed to pay them what they've put into their farming, into their investments, what they put into their investment, and gain and reward on their investment. No, we don't do that. We just put you back on your feet. Like you said about the plantain thing, that you're losing a plantain of 2 years. Yes, we pay you a considerable amount of money to replant your plantain, which is considerable, but you cannot exactly gain back what you've lost on your farm. It's not possible. That is just one of the misconceptions. And again, when clients are being insured, some of them don't really go through, they don't really know what the cover entails. Like you mentioned, like I mentioned, and you did justice to them, the list of some of the things that, okay, for example, now in a cashew plantation, probably we now have, for someone who does not take the cattle invasion now, he or she now the farm is now being invaded by cattle and destroys all the person's farmland, and he is coming to claim. The insurance company is going to repudiate the claim, which means we are not paying because he did not take up this cover, but probably because he did not understand, or maybe his contact person did not really explain to him. Maybe the contact person is all about premium and did not really do justice and explain well to him or her. So the person is going to go with the mindset that no, insurance company is not paying and all. So those are some things that I feel like the insurance company and the client, that some of the misconceptions they used to have about each other.
Wonderful. You did justice to that. So I also want to emphasize that your insurance can never pay you all your losses. And of course, I know this because I actually asking this because I've seen quite a number of insurance. Before we start going into insurance, I ask why you guys are not insured initially. We tell them that there's more about insurance that a lot of clients don't know. And we'll try our best to give them a good mind that's regarding how this works, but they don't usually get it. And I realize that it's a lot of misconception in the environment. Whatever you've lost, you've lost it. And we don't pray that happens. For example, much more so in the tree or in the cash crop, perennial cash crop business. No loss can be replaced, right? Because majorly in the perennial cash crop business, it's about the time as opposed to the reward, also the refunding of the thing. Because, for example, your cashew is in 4 years and it's just at the end of commercial production, and then whole farm just went off. It doesn't matter how much you were being paid, right? That tree is going to take 4 years to bring back to life. So that's why we always just try our best in operation. But of course, I'm glad that we're to bring this up to everyone's mind. We don't assume insurance to take this step and insurance come alive for what we have. Of course, we'll be giving clients a room in the next 5 minutes. We'll give them a 20 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes window to ask the questions. But before we jump to that, I also want to emphasize some other parts. Now, how do insurance work for us? In case you're wondering, for our old clients that are with us, we don't add insurance to the original fee that the old clients paid. So it means that we are asking the insurance representative to tell us the premium, because this will tell you how much you need to bring in. So how does this process work typically? Now you're interested in insurance, at least you want to have it on your farm. This is how it works. It's annual, so it means that whatever money we spend between day one of your farm operation to day 365, which is the end of the year, a premium on that is your annual premium. The second year again, because it's a tree farm, you're always going to pay every year. So which bear your mind for that. So it's not like, if I paid last year now, I have to pay this year again. Yes, you have to pay this year again. Of course, we have arrangements to ensure that is easy on you. For example, from your harvest, these things are automated and they are placed in a circle. Now, also, outside that, the value is not too severe, right? This value is not too severe, and because the value is not too severe, you can always be able to pay it. Now, it's very important that you have a lot of this. Before now, we've told you that insurance are your responsibility. We'll bring the insurance guy on board. We'll also help you follow it up once to show your interest. For example, after this meeting, you're a current client with us. All you need to do is, I want this insurance in my farm, and we'll take it up from there. We'll get the application, we'll send that to you, start filling the applications. Once you filled it, we move this application, and then it accelerates through the process. And after they are done, they come and inspect your farm. They check everything that is going on in your farm. We give them dates come around. They check, once they check, they tell you how much is required, and then you pay this. Once you pay it, you get a certificate for insurance, and that's all. For our new customers coming on board starting from next month, the insurance would have been added their own full land package, so they pay for it from the onset. Now that is how we are planning to ensure that we bridge all of this gap. We understand that except the right knowledge and the right understanding in our courts to play with, we are definitely going to have issues around protecting our investment. And because tree farms are very, very lucrative. When I mean lucrative, I mean like really lucrative. We have a research that we think is going to blow your mind if you're a prospective client and existing client. And that research was ampered on the fact that having a tree farm is viable over 10x multiplier than having a house investment. I know that is going to sound very weird right now, but that's the truth. We have our research to prove it. Having a tree farm is actually going to turn you more money faster than a house investment, and we have research to prove for it. So once it's ready, we'll share with our existing clients. Potential clients is quite wavy, so if you're still with us, we'll share with you. If you're not with us, of course, we'll share with our existing clients, so you can see that you're making the right choice. As long as you have a place you can live now, the next best thing you should be having is a tree investment, because trees, cash particular, can live up to 40 years, planting can live up to 20-30 years. So it means that for 20-30 years, these things are going to give you multipliers that are serious. In house, you can't regain your money in building until maybe 5-10 years, depending on the location of where the house was being built. So even you're collecting rent, you may not be able to recuperate the money that is in building a house in 5-10-15 years. Meanwhile, while in farming, you can recuperate your whole money you spent into that farm within the first 2-3 years, and that is all. And after that, please start receiving extra in multipliers. So it's very, very important. We have research to back this. It's not just statements, so that is good. So now going back to Mr. Emmanuel, thank you so much for your patience. It's so important that we're able to get all of this from you. Now going forward now, if we are going to start the insurance, between the period of application and down to the point where someone can come to the farm, how many days do you think it's going to take to wrap all of this activity up? Someone make an interest today, today being Monday, let's assume today is Monday, the 1st of February, not 1st, we are not in 1st, but let's assume it's 1st of February. Someone made an interest to start. From this day down to the day that the certificate is issued, how many days are always between these processes? Mr. Emmanuel. Are you there, Mr. Emmanuel?
Yeah, I'm with you, Mr. Denny. So, for example, now, can you hear me, sir?
Yes. I just wanted to show you got the question.
For example, if it's a working day, let's take. Yes, I do. I got it. Yeah, I do. Yes, I do. Yeah, for example, if today is a Monday and you make applications, we give you form where you fill your forms accordingly, put in the necessary details on the form, which you submit back to us. Then, even from your form, we can calculate your premium rate from your form being filled. So with that, when we calculate your premium rate, we send a representative to your farm to check the location of the farm and everything on the farm. So after that, you pay your premium. Then we give you a certificate. That certificate, once you pay your premium, we give you certificate immediately. So that certificate covers you, means you are being covered once your certificate. So you wait for around a week for your policy to be released. So the underwriter is going to underwrite your policy and is going to be sent to you. But even without you getting your policy, you are being covered already. So once you get your certificate, you are being covered, and the certificate comes after your premium payment. So once you fill your form, we calculate your premium rate. We send someone to the farm to check the farm. Then you get your certificate, then you are being covered.
Wonderful.
So this depends on depends on the location of the farm again. This might take probably depends on the work. Okay, for example, I'm not in the location where the farm is. I get across to the states where the farm is to check the farm on my behalf. So it depends on their work schedule. So they are going to be the ones to tell me when they will be available to go to the farm to check the farm. So once they do that, you are being covered. Once they do that and your premium is being paid, you are being covered.
Wonderful. I actually also stress this because I said I have experience with this system already. In one of the cases, it was a farm at Inekwafon, and there are about close to 500 hectares of rice farm. And after the application was made, it took around a month and a half to 2 months to finally sort out the whole insurance processes. And of course, if clients are not aware before then, why is it taking so long for my stuff to come out? That's what I actually fleshed that out. So it depends on a lot of things. The time available to the office that wants to come and do the inspection, the amount of how you provide the document and the required supporting document as soon as possible. All these things are things that facilitate, and the distance of the farm to the nearest office, and even also if the policy is quickly drafted out and given. These are things that come in play by the time that you're going to have all of this. Thank you, Mr. Emmanuel. We are going to be doing this a lot, right? Because a lot of people need to be educated about insurance work. And we are one of the people that last year I took a lot of training trying to tell people how not to be scammed by agriculture, because there's plenty of scam in agriculture. And I took a lot of webinars last year on how that should not happen. Sadly, I did not record a lot of this. This current webinar is currently, or panel session is being recorded and will be placed on our YouTube in due time. But as of last year, couldn't do all of this, so a lot of those contents are lost to time. However, this year again we'll be doing a lot of those things, and this insurance is also very important to what we want to be doing going forward. We're bringing you on a later time again to be able to help some new set of people understand how this insurance works, because as long as people have the knowledge, then they can't go wrong, they can't make mistakes, and then they can take informed decisions. As I said, going forward, we will be giving our clients this offer from day one, so they don't have to select later. But for our existing clients, they will actually be able to come on board it as soon as possible. With that said, it's time for questions. If you have questions for Mr. Emmanuel Bumbi, this is the time to go for it. We don't waste any more time. We are 9 minutes beyond our appointed time of call. So if you have any question, you can either use the chat box or you could unmute and then ask this question so we can answer them. They are very, very pivotal that they are good. Of course, also while we're trying to get our questions, kindly let them start ringing. If you can type them. If you want to say them, kindly state them. I'm looking at it on the chat panel session right now, and I'm willing to read out your questions if you don't want to say it. And then if you want to say it instead, of course, just signify I will have something to say on this, and I'll call your name, and then you come and speak. I don't want to open the audio anyhow for that to happen. So kindly put, okay, I want to go on right now. Just put that on the chat, and I'll call you shortly. But while you're trying to come on board, that I also want to give us a background. We have 3 cashew farm estates across Nigeria at the moment. We're trying to still get in other locations. Once we perfect it, we're going to let you know. The way we got our land as simple. First of all, we locate the environment we want that is going to be good for what we want to plant. After we get our location, we meet with the king of that environment or a known monarch in that environment. We ask him questions regarding availability of land, and then we tell him that we have interest in 1 or 2 lands in the environment. It tells what is going on, and then we take this land. After reaching our families that want to sell, we ask them the price, we negotiate these prices, then we go to the Bureau of Land, we do a survey check on the land mapping to understand if there's any government encumbrances on this land. Once we have a proof that there's no government encumbrances on this land, then we make a deposit, the first deposit to the owner of the land, that's the indigent. After we make to the land, of course, we also make the king to ensure that the transaction is recorded by the king as well. And then in due faith and honor, everybody's informed of the transaction. After then, we pay the full and we start working there. So after we're done, we also ensure that our clients get a registered survey. Before now, we've always provided professional survey, and we are currently working on register survey for some clients, but going forward, clients will give clients professional survey, registered survey themselves. So typically, once you do that, the land is more secure. Then you can apply for C of O for your land and get that as soon as possible. We give you a document once your land value. Once you pay for your land value, we give you a document. There's no point ordering it. It's not as anymore to order. So we give you that. Now that can serve as a background investment for any client, because tomorrow this land that you're buying for 400,000 thereabouts. If you're buying on promo, good, you get that lower value. But the actual price of our land is 400,000 in Ogun State and 300,000 in Osun State. This land you're buying for that value, 1 acre. Tomorrow, I can assure you, they'll be begging you with millions to actually sell this land, and you will sell it. It happened in Agege here. Of course, in Lagos, Agege happened. A lot of the estates that you're seeing that they're putting these farm estates in Agege, most of them were stupidly cheap in the early 1990s. You grab the already cheap, and then people were buying them at prices that are ridiculous, like 2,000 naira per acre per plot, and your system is like 9,000, 15,000, 25,000 per acre, and that's what they were buying lands in Agege at that period. So it's quite stupidly cheap. Now you can't get a land per plot in Agege if you don't have 15 to 20 million. You can't access a free land like which is not even there in the first place. But now if you want to demolish, you're looking at close to 40, 50 million to get a land that you can demolish. And I'm not talking about the estate side, I'm talking about even the place that actually that is serious, that are actually slum inclined. But if you're going to pay seriously, you're looking at maybe 100 million and stuff. So that's what I'm saying, that where you have right now is going to become a good in your hand, and that's why that land is important. Everything we plant on it are just other things. Also, we have a estate farm clause. These clauses are quite 4-5 pages long, and why we've taken time to draft them so that our arrangement is clear. There's no gray lines, right? We want to do the future, but we want to make sure that it is done in the sanest way possible. We are not typical investment farm people, we set up a farm, manage it, and buy your produce. You don't own your farm, so you own 100% rights to your farm. And our management of the farm is not forever. It is 10-year renewable, 5 years for some, 10 years for some. So after that 5-10 years, you can actually renew our partnership. That if you want us to continue, you can come out of it. It's not a big deal. You have authority over your farm. So that is very, very important. Now, as I said, we have 3 farmers. We have one plantain farm estate in Osun and 2 cash farm estates, one in Osun and one in Ogun State. Our farm is located in Odon, in Ogun State, along Ilaro Ilasse Road, off Ilaro, Yewa South local government. While that of Osun State is located at Shasha Forest Reserve, Aromi Okeodo, Ife South local government. These are background of our estates. We are going to start our tour by March. If you're not going to our farm, of course, if you are available by then, we'll take you to and fro free of charge. That is the background. So now, someone left a message on the chat panel. Yes, what is the range of premium that one pays for say an acre? Now, say an acre now, it depends on what the value is. So if the product was found on that land is based on what Mr. Emmanuel said. What was found on the land was actually, let's say, we spent about ₦1 million on a farm within a 1 year period. So the premium that will be paid will be ₦25,000 if you want to insure that land. If ₦1 million was spent on the land in 1 year, the premium that will be paid for that land is actually ₦25,000 to safeguard that land. So that ₦1 million worth of budget is preserved. Of course, that is it. So if that 1 year goes fine and well and nothing happens, it means that of course the insurance money would just be in range. But then if anything happens, then you actually can get some money back to ensure that you start your farm and come back with full momentum. So I think that's it. Mr. Atsi Akbodi, I think I answered that question very well, did I? Did I answer that question very well? Yes, beautiful. Thank you so much. So anybody has any other question I want to ask as regarding the insurance? We plan closing this meeting by His grace by 6:30. This meeting closed down. And we apologize for any extra times that might have arisen that might not be projected for. Is anybody willing to ask any question? Want to ask Mr. Emmanuel any question? He's still with us.
Yeah.
Good evening, Mr. Said. How are you doing?
Good evening. I have a question.
All right, beautiful, Mr. Said. What is the question, sir?
Fine. I want to first of all thank you very much for my question goes to you. When he was talking, he said that they will, after the filling of the form for application, they will send it to the farm to come and collect. The demarcation of the farm, has it been done? Because that's what's going to determine who is interested in insurance, who is not interested. Then how do we know this is the farm that is being insured and this is not insured? Thank you.
All right, wonderful. Thank you, Mr. Said, for that insightful question. So basically, when you write an app, you say you want to pick up an insurance form, and we give that to Mr. Emmanuel. What we typically do, of course, is that when they come and inspect your farm, now you're asking if there's a demarcation in place. Of course, we are going to be doing corner piece for all our farm, and that corner piece is just to ensure that Mr. A's farm, where it started from and where it ends, are clear. Or by now, if you see about farm tour videos, you understand that the farm are in a good virgin forest land, right? Particularly those in Osun, it's a virgin forest land. It's a fresh reserve. It has been on that reserve for like 20, 50, 40 years. So it's a very powerfully reserved land. So of course, after we are done with the clearing, what we do next is that we put the corner piece in place. Now, of course, we didn't add the corner piece to the value. You know, in our budget, Mr. Said, your current clients, when we send you the budget, we didn't add corner piece value to it. We didn't add any of that. We only had some certain amount for this. So what we do typically is we gather what is the corner piece value for like 5 time. After gather it, we don't have to the extra expense. This is our places where we're going to move people to. So we don't want to spend. So we get about 10 line, get that first, and we do the corner of them together, which will make the price very, very easy and inconsequential. So once that happens, of course, first we'll be communicating with you. We would actually put this in place. But you have not to worry about the big corner piece to help know where your farm starts from and where it ends. Does that answer the question, Mr. Said? Mr. Said, did I answer your question? So I have some other questions in the Mr. Lausi is quite insightful. Thank you so much, sir. We're happy that you were able to join our session, our panel session on farmland insurance.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming on.
Appreciate your
We equally appreciate your time with us, right? We don't take it for granted. So Mr. Taufik is saying that, good evening, please, I joined very late. What is the price range of your land in Ogun State? So our land in Ogun State is actually 400,000. But Mr. Said, I say anything?
Thank you very much.
All right, you're welcome. So basically, Mr. Taufik, you asked that what's the price of our land? Our land in the state actually. Mr. Said, can you unmute yourself? If you're saying something, let me know. But if you're not saying, can you mute yourself? Thank you. So our land, as I said, is 400,000. That's the price of our farm per acre in the state. During the promo period, we still have one more Friday. During the promo period in February, you can actually pay 50% of the value. And you don't have to pay at once. A simple deposit of as little as 50,000 naira. 50,000 naira would be enough to secure the promo for you until you go and see the land in March. If you want a refund before that, after explaining for that, you can always ask for you get a refund for food.
No, thank you.
That's okay, sir. So that is it. I hope I was able to answer your question, Mr. Taufik. Now, I will also have another question here on that insight there. I am Mr. Dini. This is from Mr. Yaya. I don't know. Yaya Modumbi. So he said, I'm Mr. Dini. How well do you explain insurance policy excesses and exclusion to your clients? A lot of clients tend to just pick policy documents without really understanding it. Thank you so much, Yaya Omodumbi, for asking that question. So this is it. There are a lot of gray areas with insurance, and because these gray areas with insurance are severe, we don't leave anywhere unattended to. We try to ensure that the clients are present. This meeting now, right? We broadcasted it wide, right? And about only 40 people, some people were able to join today, and we broadcasted it wide. That is Nigerian for you. A lot of people don't have the time to listen to things that concerns their life. So, but what we do is when we bring out, just like our farm estate clauses, we have clauses that we do for our farm. We always hammer these things to our clients. That's how we also hammer these things, these insurance policies, and how it works for our clients. There are some things that might look bogus right now, but in reality they are not bogus. They will not find loss at our hands at any point in time. They are not bogus. So what we do is we point out these things. For example, they emphasize those cover on forest fire, cover on flooding, cover on other things. Why I emphasize them was because these are where the real story lies. Once you understand how these things affect your farm, then you can know how to maximize them. Drought, for example, now these are where the policy lies. And then after the next thing a client wants to understand fully is, okay, how soon can I get something back if there's a challenge on this farm? Those things now we actually emphasize it as well. For example, if you take 2 months, a month before you get you can make claims back, then we emphasize it. For example, also you start the process with that it will take 1 month, it will take 2 months to complete this thing. Based on what we've seen, it will also emphasize that. And when we're giving this policy document to clients, we also ask them to read it, and we also have a follow-up call with clients, ask them that, is there anything, have you gone through your policy document? What in it do you need explanations on? If they don't have, some people don't like know how to go through long documents. So if they don't go through it, by joining this kind of programs that we'll be having consecutively as much as possible, we're applying that we're going to have minimum 4 times in a year. So as they join it, they get hear things that is in their document, but they didn't have time enough to read it. These are the videos we are going to be helping our clients make sure that they understand everything that they need to do about the insurance that comes on board. We hope I answered that very well. If there's another angle to it that I have not answered, kindly let me know. Okay, Mr. Taufik, thanks. Well, that means I think I was able to answer his question succinctly. Is there any other question that I need to answer? This is just, we have 7 more minutes.
Yeah, good evening. Good evening, everyone. So I have a question I need to ask. So concerning the insurance, does it have to come from maybe from your office or something? What if one wants to do the person's insurance via another insurance company by the person's own self? Can the person do that, or everyone has to insure? Everyone has to insure with the company or something that you choose. That's my question.
Thanks so much, Ms. Nkemjika for asking that. So this is it, right? There are quite a number of insurance companies out there, to be honest. From the top of my head, I think I know of Leadway, Anchor, I know of ICO, I know of, there are quite a number of insurance companies out there, right? And some popular than others, some more niche than others. Some insurance companies are actually very niche. That means they have targeted audience. So, of course, we don't want to go through all of this. Insurance premiums are cheaper with Nike, right? And then because they are the cheapest so far I've actually come across. I've actually seen a lot of premium. Not all for all insurance, but I've seen for many insurance that work with the agricultural space. Nike is actually the most affordable of them all. And I think that's to do with the fact that it's government agency. That's one. Two, we can ask you to bring your insurance, but because we don't have personal relationship with that insurance company, or we might not have personal relationship with that insurance company, it may not make the process as smooth as possible, right? So, but if you want to bring your insurance on board, you have your personal insurance you want to bring on board, we are not going to say no to it, because at the end of the day, whether it's Nike or not Nike, you're paying yourself. You're the one that's going to pay for it. But what I'm trying to say is, one, it might not be cheap enough as Nike could be. Two, because we're not used to them, or we're not used to their modus operandi, or we are learning them. The friction, there might be a level of friction which may impede speed. However, the moment we understand them enough, through the first client, the second person that may be using them might not be that difficult. We may easily take it. But as I said, as a company, we have actually partnered with Nike on that, and that's because I've had a lot of experiences with Nike and NISA in the beginning part of my career. When I started out in agriculture in 2014-15, I started with Nike and NISA from CBN. So my early journey started with them. Of course, I'm aware. I have representative from Leadway, but then a lot of Leadway clients had actually lost confidence in Leadway due to what happened last year. So Leadway is still trying to regain this confidence, and we don't want to add much to that wound, and that's why we actually not pick them up. But if there's any other insurance you want to bring on board, just give us the details and let us know how it works, and then we'll help you on board. But officially, as a company, we are partnering with Nike to achieve that goal. I hope I want to answer your question, Mr. Kemji Aya.
Yes, you are. Thank you.
All right, beautiful. If in case you don't know, a lot of our pictures of our clients will be seen online. Ms. Nkemjika is actually the guest on it. She's one of our fierce clients that actually helped us got better in a lot of things about our processes. When we started the company, we are not into documentation. We're a farming company, so there are a lot of things that we were missing in the beginning of our processes, and through the help of a client, Ms. Nkemjika Anya, we were able to straighten a lot of things about our processes and got better in serving our clients. So I'm using this opportunity to appreciate, and that is why we're so happy for our clients. So our clients are actually the reasons why we get better at doing what we do, and it has only grown us stronger by ensuring that we take insights from her and apply them to our own operational indices. Thank you so much, Mr. Nkemjika, once again. Also, Mr. Taufik Onkokola is saying that also, is there any room for partnership respect of the farm operation and sharing of the proceeds? Yes. So because what we have is partnership. What we have is partnership with our clients. We don't actually own your farm. I'm going to stress that again. We don't own these farms. After we sell you the land, it's yours for life. All you just need to do is quickly get a start survey and it's your goal to perfect it. But we don't own this land anymore. We sell it to you for life. Of course, we try to manage the estate to ensure that the estate has a singular same value, and it is to amass value over time. And this is important for you because if you plan to sell it in the future, it's how much value you need to create in the estate that will determine the price you're going to sell it. So of course, we're still going to be doing that, even though we sold it to you. And of course, we'll also hold estate meetings to ensure that at any point in time, all our clients are able to develop the estate together. So, of course, we'll send you an MOU once. For those that are prospective clients, we'll send you an MOU for partnership. You sign it, you send it back to us. It's very important. Once you send it to us, our partnership are kicking off. And that partnership covers the setting up of your farm, the management, and also covers the produce. We buy your produce and give you your revenue. And how much we charge for managing your farm, setting it up at the end of your harvest are all documented. So yes, there's room for partnership in that light, in operations and in sharing of proceeds. I think I've answered that, Taufik Fokwala. I hope it was to your taste. Omodubi is saying that as an insurance person myself, just wish everyone take this extra step to save us a lot of wahala when it comes to claim, document, and claim payments. Of course, this is another insurance professional. You see, everybody works from different aspects of life. obviously Yaya Omodumbi is actually an insurance person himself, and then he says to take extra step because it will still know what everything, all this is all about in its fullness. It helps in claim documentation and the payment itself. Thanks so much, Yaya Omodumbi, for that insight as well. Of course, thank you, Mr. Oladipo Aidu Guns. I hope I'm not going to pronounce that very wrong. Thank you for affirming the work we have going on right there. So this is 6:29. I'm going to be handing over my conversations to Mr. Oluwaseun Benjamin Oyerinde so he can wrap up this session for today. Stay glued to your phone. If you're still thinking about coming on board our project, please don't stay too long. We have one more Friday where you can get it at cheaper price. Of course, if you're coming in the Friday as well, you get 10% off your development value to farmers as well. This is promo, 50% of the land, 10% of the development. If you miss the Friday, you're going back to the original value, and that's it. Also, we want you to spread the word. Everybody must know how these things work. So when we're having our next webinar, watch out in the news. We'll be starting our series on how to avoid scam and duping and fraud in agriculture. Once we start the series as well next month or later this month, kindly share with your friends, everybody you know, because the more people are informed, the more people have knowledge, the more they will fall less into wrong deals and business transactions. Thank you. Floor is to you, Oluwaseun.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. And I believe that everyone has actually gotten one or two quality information that they can at least turn in the night with, and it's a privilege to be able to have this kind of platform to gain more knowledge, and new knowledge is never wasted, and learning is always a continuous constant process. So in lieu of all that we have said today, we'll be coming to close in a couple of minutes, but I just want to reiterate what you said: referrals for so many of us that are already current clients with us. It's not, of course, you will do so much in having to communicate what you've been experiencing here to others around your network, and it will be good if you are also capable of bringing those collective minds to also join you in this thing. We know that we are going towards a great direction, and it will be good to also have many of your peers in this. For other, like Mr. Ni also said, this meeting was recorded, so we should be seeing summaries of this recorded meeting on our YouTube page. We should be sending the links to you. For those that are part of our community group, you'll be seeing the link there, and if you aren't a member already, you'll be having an external link to how you could get that video and also spread it abroad. It's good when those that are into stuff like this get to understand what is involved in insurance and farmland packages. So with this, we'll be coming to a close. We've fast spent so much time on this, but I hope that it wasn't a wasted time. We thank everyone who has been able to join us and spare their hard-earned time that they could use to do other things to be here. I believe that it was worth your while. We believe it was worth your while. We thank you so much. We appreciate you. We'll do well to be seeing us soon in subsequent webinars that we'll be having. We will plan to have more, and not just for marketing ourselves as a company, but generally for the focus of enlightening those that are our clients and also other people. So in lieu of this, we want to bring this meeting to a close. Thank you so much. So we are all free to leave the meeting. The meeting is officially to a close. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much. On behalf of Dufma, please do have a great evening.
Thank you, Mr. Emmanuel. We really appreciate you. Thank you so much. I forgot to say that earlier. I wanted to say that earlier. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
For your knowledge.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us.
And then we'll look out to replicate this again. We can't stretch and overemphasize how much you've been very impactful to this journey and helping clients get the best knowledge as much as possible. Thank you so much. And those that are still on board, you can reach us at dufmasolutions@gmail.com to take the first step. If you have any other questions, and if you want to reach us on WhatsApp, you can do so. Either train of your handlers, if you have an handler, and if you have an handler, you can see Dufma's number. Dufma's number is 080-222-53674, and that is Dufma's official number. 080-222-53674. That's the official number of Dufma. So you can also reach us on WhatsApp and via text, via call as you think it. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful day.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Shell. Thank you so much, Mr. Lee. And I really appreciate this opportunity. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful week.
And you too. Bye.
And you
bye,
too,
everyone.
sir.
Bye.
So bye, everyone. Thank you so much. We look forward to seeing you next time.